Today marks day 10 of the federal trial against Sean Diddy Combs. And after a long holiday weekend, court is officially back in session. Now, the heat is turning up. Diddy's former assistant, Capricorn Clark, is set to testify today. And I'm telling you right now, her testimony is absolutely explosive. Before we get into that, let's recap what went down on trial day number 9 to get you all caught up. Now, we started the day with continued testimony from George Kaplan, Diddy's former assistant, who was granted immunity. Now, Kaplan testified that Diddy physically assaulted Cassie on a private jet and that he was instructed to get creams to hide her bruises on her face. He also claimed Diddy's girlfriend, Gina, was assaulted with green apples by Diddy. Kaplan ultimately left the company because he said he was tired of covering up things that he knew were wrong. Then we heard from Kid Cudi, who spoke about his brief relationship with Cassie. He recalled her calling him one night panicked after Diddy found out about them. Cudi said he rushed her to a hotel but later got a disturbing call from Capricorn Clark saying Diddy and an associate had broken into Cudi's home. According to Cudi, Diddy went through his home, opened up his Christmas gifts, terrorized his dog, and left before the police arrived. And of course, there was the infamous moment where a Molotov cocktail was thrown into Cudi's car, causing it to explode. After that, he says he backed away from Cassie for good. Now, we also heard from Mila Morales, who was Cassie's makeup artist, who described seeing visible bruises on Cassie's face. Bruises that she says were caused by Diddy because she actually was there to witness one. Now, defense came at her hard, pointing out that she had done paid interviews discussing the incident. Then there was Frederick Zamur, a hotel manager, who testified about some of Diddy's strange requests, like keeping the room at exactly 75 degrees and misting air freshener down the hallways to cover up bizarre smells. Finally, we got testimony from HSI agent Josh Croft, who testified about extracting data from Cassie's laptop, but his appearance was pretty uneventful. Before wrapping up the day, prosecutors left us with a cliffhanger. Capricorn Clark is the next to take the stand. And if you know anything about her connection to Diddy's inner circle, then you know Diddy was pressed the whole weekend. We are going to break down day number 10 and so much more. But before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now, let's get back into it. So, there was some motions being filed over the weekend. So, the legal war between Sean Diddy Combs and the federal government is getting intense. His defense team is fighting to show photos and videos of Cassie looking happy and working on her career, claiming it proves that she wasn't trafficked or controlled. Now, they're also trying to strike damning testimony, like Kid Cudi telling the jury that he believed Diddy was lying about the car bombing. At the same time, prosecutors are pushing back, saying that those photos don't prove consent and that Kid Cudi's statement should stand. And with the arson expert set to testify today about the Molotov cocktail used in the Porsche fire, the defense wanted to bring up the partial female DNA found on the bottle. But the government wants that blocked too, saying it's hearsay. It's incomplete and could mislead the jury. Bottom line, both sides are fighting tooth and nail over what the jury is allowed to see and believe. The judge says, "I see you burned the midnight oil over the weekend. What about the DNA question?" Prosecutor says investigator Jimenez's knowledge of this is extremely limited. Judge says, "But didn't he ask the serologist if any DNA test was done? But not the details." Yes, there was a particular profile from the glass bottle in the car, but investigator Jimenez does not know what that means. But there, judge says, "You don't object to the report coming in, only what Mr. Agnifilo will ask." She says, "We do not object to the report coming in." Agnifilo says he got the results back. If the DNA came back with Sean Combs' DNA, this investigation would have gone in a different direction, but it was consistent with a female contributor. Judge says, "So, it's not whether the results were accurate, only the impact." Judge says, "I'm going to overrule the objection, but I'll hear you at sidebar after the direct." Prosecutor says, "This DNA issue can mislead the jury." Agnifilo says, "We could prove this up through the serologist. This is fair game for this witness." Judge says, "For now, the objection is overruled." Judge says, "What about the summary charts? When are they being offered?" Prosecution says, "Some early next week, others along with our second to last witness before we rest our case." Judge says bringing in bank and phone records and texts is okay, but some text threads are already in. Prosecutor says the summary charts will save time as they did in the ex-Senator Bob Menendez case. Judge says that leaves us with the objection to Dr. Hughes. Is the U.S. going to respond? Prosecutor says yes. Judge says submit your response by tomorrow. Judge says now as to Mr. Mescudi's testimony, Mr. Kid Cudi, which seemed like an opinion. How is it admissible given the requirements of Rule 701? Prosecutors said we'd like to look at the cases submitted by the defendant then put it in a letter. Judge says, okay, bring in the jury. The jury is now entering. Judge says, welcome back. Call your next witness. The government calls Capricorn Clark. Where did you grow up? Born in San Francisco, moved to LA. Worked for Def Jam. Then Death Row Records, a late 90s gangster rap label. What was your relation to Suge Knight? He is the father of my friend's child. Then you work for Sean Combs? Yes. He's over there in the blue sweater. I worked for him from 2004 to 2012. Were you kidnapped? Yes. So, Miss Clark, where did you first meet Mr. Combs? When I moved to NYC in 2002, we were super platonic friends. A headhunter said I should work for him as a personal assistant. I did until 2006. Your duties? Shadow him from Wake Up. Then what? Head of women's for Sean John. How long? A year. Then global brand director for Sean Combs. Name and likeness due diligence to grow the brand. Then I was terminated until 2016 for Cassie Ventura. Did you work in this building? A photo of Bad Boy Records offices being shown. Yes, we moved there in 2005. Your first day. Where did Mr. Combs take you? Central Park after dark along with Uncle Paulie. He looked like a linebacker. Does this photo look like him? No, he doesn't have on the blackout shades he wore all the time. What did Mr. Combs tell you in the park? That since I worked for Suge Knight, if anything happened, he might have to unalive me. Objection, says defense. Judge says overruled. Proceed. How did you take it? Seriously, it had grabbed me. How did you react? I said I didn't have anything to do with that stuff. Objection, says defense. Sustained. Mr. Steiner. Prosecutor says what was Paulie's role? All aspects of Mr. Combs' movement to keep him safe. There was also Drock, Roger Bronze, and Ruben. Who's Drock? A good friend of Biggie Smalls, running back type body. Did you ever observe Mr. Combs with a gun? Yes, in my home. And did he talk about it? Mr. Combs told Chris Lighty he had a gun. He had a problem with 50 Cent. Were you ever accused of stealing? Yes. Jewelry. It had been given to me. It was alone. It went missing. Yes. So, let's give some context to this situation. And so Capricorn Clark was accused of theft in 2004, which was a couple of months after she started working for Sean Combs. Now Clark was handed some diamond jewelry that was given to Combs on a loan. Jacob Arabo, also known in the hip-hop circles as Jacob the Jeweler. Continuing with Prosecutor Steiner. So what did you do? From Teterboro, I called 1440 and told them to lock it down. What did Uncle Paulie do? He questioned me for 3 hours. You went home to Queens? Yes. With Uncle Paulie? He searched my house. Where did Uncle Paulie take you? 1710 Broadway. It was dilapidated. It was being fixed up. But I didn't know that. Uncle Paulie took me to the 6th floor. The door was locked behind us. There was a 6-foot folding table and a heavy-set man. Can you describe him? 5 of me, 2 linebackers. He was chain-smoking. Did Uncle Paulie stay? No. Intermittently, he came back. What did the heavy-set man say? I was there to take a lie detector test. What did he say would happen if you failed that lie detector test? That they would throw me in the East River. Objection, says Agnifilo. Can we have a sidebar? So, they have a sidebar going on. Judge says, Miss Steiner, you may proceed. Miss Steiner says, what was his demeanor? Very serious. I was terrified. Did you want to be taking the test? No, I was afraid. How was the test? Wires on you and they asked questions. Did I steal? Did he tell you the results? He said to calm down, that he couldn't get a good reading and he might have to throw me in the East River. Anyone else in the building? Not to my knowledge. Could you leave? No. Paul said no. What did Paul say at the end? That he'd come back the next day to figure it out. We started again. Another lie detector test in the same location. All day. Were you free to leave? No. How long did this go on? 5 days. Did you tell anyone where you were? No, I was just trying to survive it. I worked under an NDA. Objection, says Agnifilo. Sustained. Jury should disregard that last answer. What would you have been doing? Shadowing Mr. Combs. Okay, Miss Clark. So what happened after 5 days? They said I could return to work. That Mr. Combs would see me the next week. Did Mr. Combs ever discuss it with you? No. Why did you continue to work with Mr. Combs? If I left, they'd think I stole. What were your days like? From his townhouse at 74th Street in the park in the morning to Daddy's house studio at night. How much sleep did you get on a good day? For hours. On a bad day, too. I got a stress condition. I got paid $55,000. Did you get paid overtime? No. I spoke to the head of HR. She said I was owed $80,000. How did Mr. Combs respond? He ripped up the paper. Would Mr. Combs stay in hotels? Yes. With whom? Kim Porter. Once a week. What names would you book the room under? Frank Black, Frank White, and the girlfriend? Jackie Starr. Where did he stay? Intercontinental Buckhead in Atlanta. Beverly Hills Hotel in LA. What were in the bags? Camera. Small bottle of baby oil and lube. Cameras every time. What would you be doing? Watching TV, ordering room service, catching up on sleep. Afterwards, I'd sweep the room for anything left behind. Any damage? Baby oil. How frequently would Mr. Combs stay in the hotel with Cassandra Ventura in 2008? Like once a week at the Lamarge, the London, the Intercontinental for several days, the IB Drip. Did he speak to you about his relationship with Cassie Ventura? Yes, Miss London. Lauren London was there. Chef Jordan in the other room. He called Cassie over, asked her to walk there. Hand me that. Go back in the other room. She did. What did he say? You won't do that. That's why you don't have a man. What did you say? You're right. Did you observe Mr. Combs obtain drugs? A girlfriend in New York, in LA from one stop. Molly. Ecstasy delivered to Puff or to me. Did he ask you to get drugs for him? Yes, ecstasy. Prosecutor Steiner says, and in south of France. He asked me to get cocaine. I said, for who? Prosecutor says, why? She says I wasn't gonna do it given how my mother died. Agnifilo says, objection. Sidebar. So they have a sidebar. Okay, so now they're back from sidebar. Prosecutor says, who did Mr. Combs say the drugs were for? He said, not me. Did you get them? Yes, through the Spanish security guard. He also gets prescription drugs in my name. They were in the toiletry bag I'd carry or security. Okay, Miss Clark, what about bulk cash? Yes, 100,000 euro coming back from Europe. Where did he get it? Club bookings in Europe. He'd keep it, then give it to security, then enter his bedroom personal safe. Violence. Fighting. Capricorn testifies that Combs was often violent with his staffers, noting that he fought with men and women who worked for him. Clark describes Combs throwing phones at male security staff and a barber when he was upset. He also got violent with her in the summer of 2006. She alleges Combs once got upset with her for taking too long getting back from running an errand. He said, see, your problem is you want to have a life, and you can't have that here. One time I asked the chef if there was any turkey bacon. She said, no turkey bacon. I said, I hate it here. Annoyed, the chef stepped outside of the kitchen to relay Clark's comments to Mr. Combs, who was standing on the back deck of his home. He charged me, Clark said. She described Combs running towards her, then pushing her back forcefully on her shoulders. If you hate it here, get the F*** out of my house, Clark said in a shaky voice as she recalled what Combs told her during the incident. That was crossing my boundary. Did you leave your employment? I did, but you returned as global brand director. Why? He was impressed by what I did at the job I'd left for a couple of albums. He said you wouldn't have worked directly for me. Okay, and what were you doing for Miss Ventura? Managing her image maximized the optics for her. For Sean Combs, he had final approval on everything in LA. Where did you live? A gated community. We had followed Kim Porter there. Where was Miss Ventura? In NYC on West End. She would come to LA and stay with him or with me or in a hotel. Who else was Miss Ventura seeing? Scott, Mescudi, Cuddy. How'd you learn that? She brought him to my apartment. What did she say? She texted me that they were going to this public place in LA. I told her it was a bad idea and to delete the text. Why? If Mr. Combs learned about Mr. Mescudi, Mr. Combs paid for my phone and hers. I took Miss Ventura to Best Buy to get a burner phone. When did Mr. Combs return to town? Not long after. He took Cassie to a hotel, the Cipriani. And then what? December 22nd, 2011. Between 5:30 and 6 a.m., there was a banging at my door. What did you see through the peephole? A furious puff. Objection, says Agnifilo. Ask another question, Miss Steiner. What was his movement? Pacing with something in his hand. Did you open the door? I did. Okay, Miss Clark. What was he wearing? Button-down sweater, torn pants, and he was holding a gun. He came into my apartment and said, why you didn't tell me? Who is Scott? I said, I don't know any Scott. What did he say? He said, we're going to live this N******A. So where was the gun? In his hand. I said I didn't want to go. He said, I don't give a F*** what you want. Get dressed. What concerns did you have? He'd never come to my house. Did you try to escape? No, I got dressed. Who joined in? Ruben in the black Escalade. Executive class. Where was Ruben? Driver's seat. I got in the back seat, right-hand side. Mr. Combs was in the left next to me. Usually, he would have sat in the front. The gun was in his lap. So, How long does it take to drive from your home at the time to Kid Cudi's home in the Hollywood Hills? If you push it, 15 to 20 minutes. What did Mr. Combs and Ruben do at Kid Cudi's house? They went in. Could you see in? Yes. So what did you do? I called Cassie on her burner. I said, Cassie, where the F*** are you? I told her Puff was at Cudi's house. Then I changed her number in my phone to my best friend Stormy. What did you hear on the phone? That Scott was at Cassie's. Okay. So when Mr. Combs came back, he took my phone and called the last number. Then I saw Cudi driving up. Mr. Combs saw my face and said, there's that N*** right there. We drove off and saw the police driving the other way towards Cudi's. Puff was pulling himself together. We stopped at the Key Club and he told me to call Cassie. What did he tell you to tell Cassie? That he had me and wouldn't let me go. How did Miss Ventura respond? She said, okay, come and get me. She was calm. Who drove you home? Ruben. What did Mr. Combs then tell you? To convince Cudi not to say that it had been him at the house. I picked up Cassie. Okay. And then where did you go? We went to Cudi's and tried to convince him not to file a police report. What did you tell him? That Puff came to my house with a gun. What did you tell them to say? If you tell on him, he'll hurt us all. What was Mr. Mascudi's reaction? Mind blown. Objection, says Agnifilo. Sustained. Jury will disregard. What happened at the house? He was kicking Cassie again and again. How was Cassie? In the fetal position. Mr. Combs kicked her all the way to the street. She was crying silently. Where was he kicking her at? Her back. Her backside. Voice cracks. Where were you? 5 feet away. So was Ruben. What did Mr. Combs say to you? He said, if you jump in, I'm going to F*** you up. 2. What did Ruben do? Nothing. Who did you call? Drock. I told him, tell your brother to stop Puff. He is kicking the S*** out of her. I called Paulie too. He said he'd take care of it, but Ruben did nothing. What next? He told me to get the F*** out too. I left on foot. Could you still see her getting kicked until I went around the bend? Then who did you call? Regina Ventura, her mother. I told her he's kicking the S*** out of your daughter. I can't call the police, but you can. Why didn't you call the police? The mission of the day was to get Kid Cudi. So no calling police. Okay. In this email, who is it from? Cassie. She wrote that he would be releasing sex tapes about me and he would have someone else hurt me and Scott Mascudi. Do you recall if you responded to this? I don't. Did law enforcement call you? The arson investigators? Cudi had given them my name. I hung up on them. I just wanted this to be over. What did Mr. Combs say to you? He said, I should live you and I should cut her face. How many times did Mr. Combs threaten you? I'd say 50 times. Drock was there just doubling down on whatever Puff was saying in the moment. Who is Harv Pierre? The president of Bad Boy Records. I told him Puff had kidnapped me. What did Harv Pierre tell you? He said, that's crazy, but it's going to be okay. I got a termination notice. I was accused of not properly putting in for a vacation I was on. Had you put in? Yes, Harv Pierre. Did you lose benefits? Yes, all of them, health, 401k, my house, and my car. What did Mr. Combs say? That I would never work again. That he'd make me live myself. Did you get a job offer? I did, but it fell through. Couldn't get a job. Did you settle with Mr. Combs in October 2012 for objection, can I approach? Yes. Sidebar. Okay. So now they're back from sidebar. Prosecutor Steiner says, aside from that settlement agreement, do you have any other pending litigation against Mr. Combs? No. Did you go back to work for him? Yes. In 2016, no one else would hire me. Cassie had a new record deal with Epic. Who did you have to get approvals from? Sean Combs. Cassie was taking more drugs. Was she still dating Mr. Combs? Yes. In December 2023, why did you retain an attorney? I was traumatized by Cassie's civil complaint. Her complaint did not reference me. I reached out to Mr. Combs and said, I want my life back. You kidnapped me. Objection, says Agnifilo. Overruled. Was there a discussion of you working for Mr. Combs again? Yes, as chief of staff. When did you last speak with Miss Ventura? 2018. And Mr. Mascudi? 2012. No further questions. Judge says, time for break. Agnifilo says, can I start? Judge says, we're taking a break. Okay, so now they're back from break. Judge says, Miss Clark, you're still under oath. Agnifilo says, we met in April 2024. You had a lawyer, Brian Freeman. Yes. You wanted to come back and work with Mr. Combs, right? We discussed it. Yes. You saw Miss Garagos taking notes. Yes. You said you didn't think Cassie was good for Mr. Combs. Why? I just thought they were toxic. Tell me about when you were in New York. I was in the Bronx. I hated it. It was 2002. I met Jeanette, then Mr. Combs. And 2001 was the World Trade Center thing. Then I met Mr. Combs. He wasn't doing drugs, right? He did ecstasy in Daddy's house, but it got worse. Yes, you authorized Mr. Freeman to seek a job for you. It was all very professional, lawyer to lawyer, but you were told you couldn't be given a job in the middle of the investigation. I don't remember that. Read this and let me know when you're done. Do you remember saying you had the biggest crush on him? Objection, says prosecution. 403. Judge says Mr. Agnifilo. Agnifilo says, state of mind. Prosecution says, it's being offered for the truth. Agnifilo says, we had a stip on this. Sidebar. Okay, they're back. So, Agnifilo questions Clark about text that she sent to Combs in which she told him that she had the biggest crush on him. Clark wondered if they had misused all that dope chemistry in the message. Agnifilo briefly questioned Clark about that early period, prompting her to say that she remembered those days finally. He continues with his questioning. Agnifilo says, you called him Chalk for chocolate, right? I did. You started with Def Jam Run DMC. I don't go back that far. I'm more Foxy Brown, Redman, Jay-Z. So, how do you come to work for Mr. Combs? I put my resume on Monster after the World Trade Center thing. He said, you'd work for me? I was like, maybe. He was acting on Broadway in The Raisin in the Sun. I was impressed. He had a major part. He was a star. Then I shadowed him on the Vote or Die campaign. My job was to get the t-shirts on the celebrities and into the photo shoots. I call them and say Puff wanted them to come and they came. They did. How long before the jewelry went missing? It was about 4 months. On the 4th of July, he threw a white party at his home in the Hamptons that year with Vote or Die. When did the jewels missing happen? After the 4th of July. The jewels were still on loan from Jacob the jeweler. Who else got the lie detector test? Mike B., his stylist. He too had gone to street level of 1440 for manicures. The lie detector test was the next day. You never told HR? No. I got fired for 3 weeks. How did you get unfired? I went to work on his 35th birthday at Cipriani to do the celebrity list. I came back 2004 to 2006. Not all as personal assistant, then liaison. I was making $65,000 a year for Combs, then 90 at Jive. So let me ask you something. Why did you come back to Combs? I had gotten top records for R. Kelly. Mr. Combs said he was impressed. Asked me to come back for Sean John for women. I think I was a really good employee for him. He told you you were awesome? He did not use that word. You worked hard for him? I did. Others worked hard too, right? Not as hard as me. I did learn a lot from Mr. Combs. She's almost crying. He broke that glass ceiling for us black people in the business world. Do you need a minute? No, it's just complicated. We'll take a break, says the judge. So, with the jury and the witness out, judge says on DNA questions to Inspector Jimenez, the government's objection is overruled. Prosecutor says, we asked for a bit longer. We've not been able to eat lunch. We are running ahead of schedule. Our case may be closer to 5 weeks rather than 6 weeks. So now they're back from break. The jurors and the witness is not in. Prosecution says they propose to use communications between Miss Clark and Miss Ventura. We don't see any non-hearsay purpose. Agnifilo says there are logistics and photo shoots being discussed. She testifies to this on direct. Agnifilo says the direct went more negative than we expected. Their theory is that Miss Ventura was not permitted to be creative. Judge says in the future be more clear with what you submit overnight. The judge continues in their defense over the weekend. The defense argued the album cover was relevant. Right, Miss Shapiro? Miss Shapiro says yes. Prosecution says Miss Ventura is topless with her arms crossed. So judge said let's have Miss Clark come back in. The judge continues, let's bring back in the jury. Now the jury is entering. Agnifilo says, when you went into the park, it was the tavern on the green. We parked there earlier in the day. In the park, we ran into Nas. When you say we had Miss Ventura spin, who was there? Let me show you what you said. You said Lauren Gibson was there. They misheard me. When did you first meet Cassie Ventura? I met her with Ryan Leslie. Why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? In 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She thought I was being paid to help her. Objection, says prosecution. Sustained reason. What did you see? She went from being a sweet model to being a feisty girlfriend. Do you think she's talented? She had talent and was very beautiful, but not talented. She was not. I have good taste. Talented to me was Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. Cassie, she was more of a studio musician. She needed things equalized. Not the equalizer. Did she perform live? Couple times. Not the greatest. Was she a hard worker at times? When wasn't she a hard worker? She preferred to be with her boyfriend. When she moved to LA after Kim had the twins 2009-ish, I saw her developing more of a relationship with Mr. Combs. He supported her, yes, with stylists, other musicians, all the components to make her a star. Did she get more help than others? Yes. Young jock and a group from Atlanta, I developed French Montana. According to Capricorn Clark, Ventura had more attention and resources than other artists signed with Bad Boy, especially at the beginning of her career between 2007 and 2012. She says, "From my point of view, the lion's share of Bad Boy was on Cassie in the first block of time. This is referring to the time between 2007 and 2010. I ran into Cassie. She said she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. What about Official Girl? Super cute video. Okay. And what about King of Hearts? It was fresh. Puff liked it. Cassie had a green wig. Yes. So, Clark helped to create this new look for Cassie for the MTV Video Music Awards that year that required Ventura to dye her hair neon yellow. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked Clark to confirm Ventura was on board with the look and had a say-so in the decision. Clark testified that she presented the idea to Ventura, who liked it before telling Combs about it. The defense attorney explicitly asked Clark to confirm that Ventura wasn't forced against her will to dye her hair, which Clark did. Agnifilo says, "We moved to admit this witness. Prosecution says there is a hearsay issue." Agnifilo says, "You don't remember this email?" "I don't." "Okay. So, here in 2012, you are setting up a recording session for Cassie. Mario Wines was the chairman for Mr. Combs." "Yes." "When did you learn Cassie was dating Kid Cudi?" "Fall of 2011. I picked her up there." "You believe that after Thanksgiving, Miss Ventura and Kid Cudi were what?" "Getting to know each other." Capricorn Clark says that Cassie and Kid Cudi came to her apartment to hang out once sometime after Thanksgiving. Clark said about a week before the alleged kidnapping, she picked Ventura up from Kid Cudi's home after she spent the night there. "Why'd you get her a burner phone at Best Buy?" "I told her, you cannot do this on your Bad Boy phone." "How did you know about burner phones?" "I grew up in Los Angeles." In December 2011, Mr. Combs was at an orphanage in Almaty, Kazakhstan. "I heard it was Russia. How did Mr. Combs get into your building?" "I was told the security guard got fired." "What was his name?" "Some random security guard." Question, what did he look like?" "A black guy, younger than 35. Question, what was Mr. Combs doing with the gun?" "He had it in his hand." "He wasn't pointing at you." Question, no, but you told the government he pointed it at you. It says, or waved it around. That's more correct. "When did you change in the street clothes?" "In my closet." Question, isn't it true you went so that Mr. Combs wouldn't do something stupid?" "And no, I went because he said he didn't care if I didn't want to go. He's a jealous guy. He has a bad temper." Question, to the Escalade. "Did you pass the security guard?" "I saw him in a little hut. Mr. Combs was behind the driver with a gun on his lap." Question, you made a call. "Not then." "Did you look at Kid Cudi's door to see if they could get through it?" "I was not really paying attention. I was so in my head trying to plan my next step. I was praying that Cudi was not in there." Question, did Cassie have 2 rooms? Cudi took her to 1 room. She had another. Question, you are 100% that you called and told them Puff had a gun? "Yes, I said it very quickly. I didn't want Puff to see me on my phone." Question, did you say that Lauren London was on the phone with you and Cassie and Cudi? "I know only part of the time." Her voice is now crackling. "I wanted someone to know where I was." Question, what did you tell her? "I'm scared of mountain lions." Attorney Agnew, mountain lions. Capricorn Clark. I don't know if you know the Hollywood Hills Coyotes. Maybe Lauren London was on the phone. Maybe it's such a long time ago. Attorney Agnew. Are you aware that Lauren and Mr. Combs were friends for years after this? Yes, I know a lot of you are thinking that she and Lauren London are sisters. They were play sisters, not real sisters. Question, okay. So then you see the Porsche coming up the hill? Yes, Cudi is in a black Porsche. He stops next to us and speeds off. We chase him. Then he loses us. We turn away. Then we see the police pass us. Question, so you go to pick up Cassie and go where? Cudi's house. There was ADT there. Then you go to Mr. Combs' house and you say you see Mr. Combs kicking Cassie there and even in the street. Yes. And you hung up on the fire inspector. I did when you were on vacation. Question, it was with who? Rihanna. Question, after you were fired, what job did you get? I was hired by Chris Lighty to work for 50 Cent. Question, okay. And here you wrote to Mr. Combs. One day you'll forgive me. Anyway, be well. XX. Yes. Question you wrote on February 28, 2015. Your grace period to be mad at me has surpassed the agreed time. Laugh out loud. You wrote that? Yes, sir. Question, please read that out loud. I wrote, she was never my friend. She wanted me gone. I realized. Attorney Agnew. Did you think Cassie wanted you gone? I'm sorry. This is complicated for me. I felt I was Puff's protector. She continues crying, but says that email was me pleading like, dude, let it go. She said she was hurt because she believed at the time Ventura wanted her fired. Clark. I felt I was the only one gone. She was still there and things were getting worse. I tried to keep professionalism as the goal. Attorney Agnew, you thought you could be his protector. It was to move the ball towards the goal to inspire. Question, did it hurt that he would take you back because Cassie won it? Yes. I have no parents. My son is autistic. My stakes are higher, sir. Judge. How much more, Mr. Agnew? Attorney Agnew. Can I talk to the government? Judge. Sidebar. After sidebar. Attorney Agnew. Just a few more minutes and we'll get you out of here for the day. Clark. Thank you, sir. Attorney Agnew. You did a lot of great work with Cassie, 2016 and 17, right? I believe so. Cassie had addiction problems. Question, yes. You made a short movie with her. It was called Love a Loser. Damn. Question, you wrote to him asking for forgiveness. I wanted my life back, my dreams, my competency. Question, when you met with me, you wanted to work with him, right? We discussed it. Nothing further. Judge. Miss Steiner. Question, how much was Mr. Combs required to pay you? Judge. Sidebar. After sidebar. Prosecution. What happened with the job with Chris Lighty? He died the day before I was supposed to start. Then at Interscope, it wasn't about a job. They told me to leave Puff alone. Attorney Agnew. Objection. Judge. Sustained. I was blacklisted. Attorney Agnew. Objection. Judge. Sustained. Question, why did you return to work for Mr. Combs? So people could see I wasn't disposable at this level of business. He held all the power. Question, why did you meet them? Get my life back in this kidnapping. Question, did Mr. Combs carry a gun? Yes. Judge. Jurors. I know we kept you longer than I said. Thank you. See you tomorrow. All jury leaves. Commentary, y'all, this was a lot. I actually got a headache from this. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about everything going on with Diddy and this new witness, Capricorn.